I'm sitting here in a very comfortable lounge at the Design Miami 2009. I'm sitting here with Greg Lynn, who has designed this lounge. But in addition to this lounge, Greg Lynn has designed for Swarovski a project for sails, crystals, and carbon. Greg, can you tell us a little bit about the project?
Sure. When Nadia and her team at Swarovski approached me, they asked me if I had any ideas about how to use crystals in a new way. And I thought to myself about it and looked at a lot of samples and tried to come up with a way of putting crystals in the air, like you would with a chandelier, but at the scale of a building or the scale of a room. So the project really started from that premise that we would put floating crystals at the scale of an environment. And that was really the beginning.
And we ended up with 4 sails. So sails and crystals and Swarovski, where's the connection?
Well, I've been fascinated with material that's used in the sailing industry, which is the lightest, strongest man-made material. And it's very thin fibers of carbon and aramid that are drawn and woven by a robot into a translucent membrane. And I thought that this would be a great way to use the crystals to put them into the sandwich of this thin membrane and cook it all together into one consolidated sheet. So the crystals now are in these thin, glittering sheets, almost like wings or something.
So these 4 wings or 4 sails, they are quite big. How many crystals have you used for that project?
Well, I should have these statistics at my fingertips, but it's more than 2 million crystals, and the crystals are 2 millimeters in diameter. So they're very small, and they're placed every centimeter, and they cover these surfaces, which are up to about 120 square meters is the largest. And we could make them probably 3 times larger than they are right now. So it's possible to do very, very large surfaces with these.
But these 2 million crystals, they are heavy altogether, so you had to work together with an architect?
Yeah, we worked with Fred Corubla, who's a naval architect, and the reason we worked with him instead of a structural engineer for buildings is that Fred thinks about composite materials and things like carbon fiber in his industry in a way that we don't think about it in architecture. Typically, you build a building and you attach things with screws and nails and bolts, and really we're the last industry that attaches things mechanically like that. In the car industry and aerospace, everything is about layering and gluing rather than mechanically attaching. So that's why we worked with Fred on this.
And how long did it take to produce this 4 sails altogether?
Well, to produce, not so long, less than a week. The sails were made with the crystals and cooked, all 4 in less than a week. But we spent more than 6 months with trial and error till we found the right solution. It was very complex to get the right size of crystal, the right fiber material, the right process, because it's the first time anything like this has ever been done. So it was about half a year, and that was fast.
And what happens with the sails after Design Miami? You told us before that you're a great sailor.
Well, I wish I could put them on my boat, but that won't happen. The sails are for sale, and so either all together or individually they'll be sold. But I think what's more important is this is really the beginning of moving this material into standard construction and interiors and things, also for exteriors. So for me and also for Swarovski, the real challenge was figuring out how to make something which is moving towards a product solution rather than an art solution.
Okay.
So it's an art object, but we're really on the way towards moving these into the world of environments.
So that is really a long-term project, and you have ideas who are going further than construction.
Yeah, I think translucent material like this with the optical effects of crystal and the lightweight, it's got a lot of applications. I mean, and there are a lot of things we wanted to try that we didn't have time to do, but something like this is so lightweight that you could move it. So if you wanted to have a room partition or a ceiling partition that moved, these things weigh less than 50 kilos each. So you could easily move them around. You could reconfigure them. They're very dynamic with lighting. So there seem to be a lot of potential applications for this, you know, apart from Miami Basel, or Design Miami, which is the whole point here, to try something new here and then see where it goes. And see what people think too. We're listening a lot to what people see in this.
And it's interesting for Swarovski, I can imagine. So they think also about using this material for other stuff than jewelry and objects?
Well, they're such a great dynamic company. I think Swarovski has always been doing lenses and all kinds of things, and I'm really not the first person to come along. It's Swarovski that's pushing this, and they're saying, look, where can we think about crystal? Can they go towards fashion? Can they go towards design? Can they go towards art? So I think it's logical that Swarovski is always open and kind of provoking people to think about how their products could change the way designers think about different scales of material.
So the following project could be having next year the Design Miami, having this tent and the outside painted with crystals.
Wow, yeah, okay.
Could be an idea.
It could be. But I'm very hopeful about the future of this approach. I think it's got a lot of opportunities, and I think we made a lot of progress in a short time towards something that's very new. I mean, for me, it's very new to put something like Swarovski crystals into such a lightweight, large-scale building element.
And what is other projects for you right now? We have seen a bulb here. And what comes next? I mean, you have this bulb here, so what are your ongoing projects?
Well, I'm really finding there's an intermediate scale between products and buildings. It's very fun. So in addition to the building practice, we're doing a couple of boats, which for me, of course, is fun. We're, working at a variety of scales. I think the HSBC lounge construction was very much inspired from an outdoor trellis we're doing for a restaurant across from LACMA in Los Angeles. So all these things, they're coming from things in the office and then feeding back in an interesting way. So
we hope for you the combination between work and fun, sailing, is proceeding, and good luck for all the projects coming, and maybe next year we have a tent from Greg Lynn with Swarovski crystals.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.